If you've ever watched a competitive Pokemon tournament, then you've probably noticed the players taking notes. Even the GOAT takes notes. But something that nobody ever seems to talk about is how to take notes. What is it that we're writing down? Today I thought I would walk you through my note-taking process and what most players prioritize when scribbling away in the heat of battle. First of all, the rules. As a player, you're allowed to bring a blank page and a pen into your match, but you're not allowed to have anything written down before the match, and you're not allowed to look back on your other match notes if you have a notebook. Other than that, you can do whatever you want with your page. So, what should you be taking notes on? The easy answer is whatever helps you, but that's not very helpful. So, specifically, what's important to keep in mind? First of all, the Pokemon that your opponent brought to each game. This can also give you a natural place to take notes on each individual Pokemon on your page, but most importantly, it'll help you find patterns in their picks. It's also really helpful to mark whichever Pokemon terastallized. Especially if you're playing very long games, it's surprisingly easy to just forget if they've used their Tera or not. Next up, speed interactions. A lot of common Pokemon have huge flexibility in how they can be EV'd, so keeping track of what's faster or slower than your Pokemon can be very helpful. The same goes for damage rolls that might be noteworthy. Did that Dragonite do way more damage than you expected and catch you off guard? Maybe their Golden Go was much bulkier than you anticipated. Those are probably the kind of things you should write down so you don't forget in a pivotal Game 3. A final major thing to keep track of is sleep turns. The game doesn't actually tell you how many turns a Pokemon has been asleep, so it can be really difficult to keep track of turns if the sleeping Pokemon is switching in and out of battle. Beyond that, it really is just whatever you think might help you. Side note, shorthand is great. Abbreviating Pokemon names, move names, or whatever else minimizes the time that you spend looking away from the game. I'm a huge note taker. Let me walk you through an example from my Hartford Regionals notes. For this one, we'll look at my round 10 match versus Stephen K. First of all, I split my page into 3 sections, one for each game in the set. As the Pokemon gets sent out, I note down the time from my watch. This is to help me better keep track of the game timer, even though it rarely comes up. Steven leads Dragonite and Iron Bundle, so I write them down first. He leads off by Hydro Pumping my Maushold. This is a calc that I'm not super familiar with, so it's worth writing down that it does about 90 damage, making it a roll to 2-hit KO. I Nasty Plot and Dragonite uses Stomping Tantrum on my Golden Go. It's notable that Dragonite is slower than my Golden Go, so I write that down, and it's also a little surprising to me that the Dragonite only does 75 damage to it, so I note that down as well. The following turn, Tauros switches in for Iron Bundle. Make It Rain does 50% to the Tauros, so I write that down. And on turn 3, Steven goes for a massive read, clicking Close Combat and Extreme Speed into my non-terastallized Golden Go. It works. My Golden Go takes massive damage as I terastallize away my Ghost typing. This is a crazy risky move that very few players would go for, so I note it down as well to remind myself later on that Steven isn't scared to go for wild plays. Steven's final Pokemon is Chenpao, so I jot that down when it's revealed. A few other things that I like to note down when they're relevant are Tailwind turns, Trick Room turns, Sleep turns, and which move a choice-locked Pokemon has decided to lock into. There isn't a right or a wrong way to take notes, but it'll probably take some time to figure out what works best for you. But it's worth it in the end, I promise. Just make sure that you aren't spending so much time on your notes that you lose focus on the game in front of you. What do you like to note down during tournaments? Let me know in the comments below. I'm just finishing moving to a new city, so I'm really excited to be back to bringing you all VGC and Pokemon related content, and I've got some pretty cool projects in the pipeline, so make sure that you subscribe and ring the bell so that you don't miss any of the future uploads. I hope you're all having a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night, whatever it is wherever you are in the world, and I'll see you all next time.